Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the medieval Indian history's timeline, and also we are going to discuss a few important facts about each dynasty, about each king, which you should be remembering from the prelims point of view. Now, this video is for those who are giving prelims this year, and also for you people who are giving the prelims this year, this video will play as a role of kind of revision, right? But also remember, for those students who are, or let's say who haven't started medieval Indian history yet, right, and those who are preparing for 2026 attempt, 27 attempt, so this video will play a role of understanding the important timeline, understanding the chronology for you people. Okay, so each and every aspirant can go through this video. Now, before going through this video, I would also advise you people to watch the previous video on ancient history timeline. Okay, so this is me, Rohan Salunke, and we will be discussing in this video about the medieval history. Now, first, initially we will be discussing about the post-Gupta period, that is the tripartite struggle. Then we will move to the early medieval period, where we will be discussing about the North Indian dynasties, North Indian timeline. Then also we'll discuss about the South India and the Deccan part. Then we will discuss about the Delhi Sultanate, the important dynasties of the Delhi Sultanate. Later on, we'll also discuss about the rise of Vijayanagara Empire, and afterwards we'll also discuss about the Mughal Empire, right? The major important emperors of the Mughal Empire, and later on we'll discuss, let's say we'll have a look over the later Mughals. Fine, during the period of later Mughals, we'll also refer to the period of Marathas as well. So stay tuned and let's start with the discussion. The early medieval period, particularly in North India. Now, the curtains rise on medieval India with the slow disintegration of the mighty Gurjar Pratihar Empire. So we have seen in the previous video that how there was a tripartite struggle between three parties, Gurjar Pratihars, Rashtrakutas and the Palas, and out of which Gurjar Pratihars will emerge powerful, but later on, okay, as their power faded, from the political ashes rose 5 Rajput clans. They were proud, they were fierce, but again, their swords clashed among themselves, right? So you will get to see that Chauhans, Solankis, Parmars, Chandelas and Gahadwals, they will be fighting. There will be a scuffle between themselves, right? And eventually, now you will get to see that the foreign powers will know that there is an scuffle going on between the Rajput clans, and they will try to take an opportunity to invade the northern India. Now, when it comes to foreign invasion, particularly the initial foreign invasion happened from the Arabic world. Then, first came Muhammad bin Qasim, tearing through Sindh and toppling King Dahir. Later on, Mahmud of Ghazni. He came not to conquer, but to plunder, strike with ruthless precision. So during the period of Mahmud of Ghazni, it is being believed that different temples were looted. The treasury was basically looted by Mahmud of Ghazni. He also captivated, he also imprisoned a number of persons, and they were like occupied as slaves in his empire. Then the final decisive blow came from Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori, who faced Prithviraj Chauhan in the fateful second battle of Tarim. And with Ghori's victory, the gate to Islamic rule in the North India swung wide open. So you can see here that Ghurid Empire was established rightly from the northern area, from the northern plain, right from northwestern frontier till the modern days Bengal. Now, we will have a look over the early medieval period from South Indian perspective, let's say from the point of view of South India, where Imperial Cholas ruled. Now, while the north burned with invasions, the south rose like a phoenix under Cholas. These Cholas, they weakened, they basically defeated Pandyas and Cheras and built not just an empire, but a civilizational legacy. They became powerful. The first king was indeed Rajaraja Chola, the first powerful king. Right. Now, when it comes to the founder was Sri Vijay Chola. But when we are discussing about the timeline, we should be focusing upon the major kings. Okay. So here, Rajaraja Chola I. Now, he is also considered to be the architect of this golden age, because during his period, okay, the navy was unmatched. Naval expeditions against the Shailendra Empire, particularly in Malay Peninsula, was launched. Then you can see over that how the highlighted part in blue, okay, the highlighted one, this is showing the influence of the Chola Empire, the extent of the Chola Empire. Then you will get to see that Rajaraja Chola also constructed the Rajarajeshwar, or Brihadeshwara temple. Now this temple comes under the category of greatest living Chola temple. Now why do we tell, or let's say why do we say there's this kind of architectures at greatest living Chola temple, is because the sculptures, if you see on the walls of this temple, the sculptures look alive, and that is the reason it is called as the greatest living Chola architecture. Then comes Rajendra Chola. Rajendra Chola I. He sailed beyond the seas. He conquered Sri Lanka and planted the Chola flag across the Southeast Asia. Under them flourished a unique system of local self-governance. Okay. That system was so unique that its mention has been there on Uttara Merur inscription. So through these local self-governments, villages ruled with wisdom and autonomy. So you can see this inscription over here. Then again, let's say even the brightest flame dims. So similarly, the Cholas declined as the Yadavas, Hoysalas and Kakatiyas rose from the south. Now these Yadavas, Hoysalas and Kakatiyas, they were the feudatories of early Chalukyas. So Yadavas ruled from the Deccan region, particularly the modern days Maharashtra and few parts of Karnataka. Hoysalas were particularly in the western region, like modern days Karnataka, entire Karnataka, and the few parts of Kerala. And Kakatiyas ruled in the eastern areas, okay, particularly the modern days Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, that area. So in this map, you can see the extent of Yadavas, Hoysalas and Kakatiyas, but also remember towards the north, now Ghurid Sultanate has been established, right? So Ghurid Sultanate, when Ghurid Sultanate is there, Muhammad Ghori is ruling on the northern India. At the same time, Yadavas, Kakatiyas and Hoysalas are there in the Deccan region. So this you should be remembering. Simultaneously, Solankis, Parmars and Chandilas are also ruling. Delhi Sultanate. The winds of change now swept through Delhi as one dynasty after another etched its name into the annals of Delhi Sultanate. Slave dynasty. First, the slave. Qutbuddin Aibak was the builder of stone and the empire. Now, again, under the leadership of Qutbuddin Aibak, who was also considered to be the slave of Muhammad Ghori, during his period, Qutub Minar, the establishment, or let's say the construction of Qutub Minar was started. Now you need to tell me in the comment section that the Qutub Minar, the word Qutub given to the Qutub Minar, comes from which personality? Okay, let me tell you, the word Qutub Minar, like the word Qutub in the Qutub Minar, is not associated with Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, so you should tell me the word Qutub is associated with whom. Okay, now you also need to remember that Qutbuddin Aibak, he ruled from Lahore. So during the slave dynasty, the capital of Delhi Sultanate was Lahore. Then came Shamsuddin Iltutmish. Now he shifted the capital from Lahore to Delhi, and during his rule, he started Iqtadari system. Iqtadari system was a kind of system where Iqtas, a land, was provided to the different nobles, to the governors, and through which revenue and law and order maintenance kind of activities were conducted. Now, during his rule, Changiz Khan, along with his Mongol army, invaded, and Iltutmish was successful in diplomatically tackling Changiz Khan over there. Then came Balban, who was also known as Ulugh Khan and Zille-i-Ilahi. Now he introduced the Persian festival Nowruz, but in 1285 he received a final blow by the Mongols, and even in this battle, even when Mongols invaded, it is believed that the son of Balban was also killed. And with this, there was no powerful king there in the slave dynasty, and now the dynastic revolution will happen. Eventually you will get to see that Khiljis will establish their own dynasty called as Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin Khilji will be now the founder of Khilji dynasty. He started as a soldier under Iltutmish, later remained till the period of Balban. He attained seniority, and later on he was made an Iqtadar. And now you will get to see that this Iqtadar will be now the first founder, or let's the first king, the founder of Khilji dynasty. Then comes Alauddin Khilji. Now you need to remember a few facts about Alauddin Khilji. Malik Kafur was his slave general, and under the leadership of Malik Kafur, Alauddin Khilji was able to defeat Yadavas, Kakatiyas and Hoysalas. Alauddin also defeated Raja Ratan Singh of Chittor. Now, Alauddin Khilji's period is also known for the military and market reforms. So he issued multiple reforms over there. When it comes to military, there were a Dag system, there was a Chehra system, right? It was kind of identity card for the soldiers, right? So these different reforms were introduced by Alauddin Khilji. He fought with Mongols 6 times. So that is the thing, like that is the reason why Alauddin Khilji was very much curious about the military reforms, because he wanted to have a big military, he wanted to have a big army so as to fight with Mongols. After Alauddin Khilji, now you will get to see that Tughlaqs will come into power. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he will be founding his own dynasty called as Tughlaq dynasty. He's the first sultan to start irrigation. He will be constructing canals, and he will be also like establishing the postal network, the postal service. And Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq will be establishing a city of Tughlaqabad near Delhi. After him, the next heir of Tughlaq dynasty will be Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now, during this period, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, like during the period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Delhi Sultanate was at its zenith, but also this period saw the beginning of disintegration. Now, why it is said so? Because certain experiments were conducted by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, which were for the good cause, but later on that experiments backfired, and which resulted into the collapse of the economy, and which resulted into the collapse of the morale of the people. He defeated Mongols. You need to remember this. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was militarily very sharp. He defeated Mongols. Ibn Battuta, who was the native of Morocco, he was present, or let's say he visited the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay. Now, you need to tell me in the comment section that what is the name of the famous book authored by Ibn Battuta. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he built the fort of Adilabad and the city of Jahanpana. And during the period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, you need to remember that Vijayanagar emerged. After Muhammad bin Tughlaq, now the time comes of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He constructed and improved several canals. He also established hospitals for poor, which were called as Darul Shifa. There were different departments established by him, one of which was Diwani Khairat, which worked for the marriages of the poor girls. The second department was Diwani Bandagan, which was the department for the slaves. And also remember, he was the first sultan to impose sharb. What does this word sharb mean? It means irrigation tax. Okay, so you need to remember these terms as well. Now, as the Tughlaqs crumbled, the Saids flickered briefly under Khizr Khan. Okay, so now under Saids, Khizr Khan will be the most powerful king. He captured Delhi and founded the Sayyid dynasty in 1414. Now, amongst the Saids, only the powerful king was Khizr Khan, and he was only remembered for so when it comes to Sayyid's dynasty, you need to remember Khizr Khan. Okay, and that's all. Now, later on, you will get to see Lodhis. Again, Lodhis are also termed as Afghans. So Lodhis will now establish their own dynasty. This Lodhi dynasty is also called as Afghan dynasty amongst the Delhi Sultanate. Why? Because all the previous dynasties, they were of Turkish origin. Okay. Now, the first king was Sikandar Lodhi. He founded the city Agra and transferred the capital from Delhi to Agra. Now, during his period, agriculture was flourishing. Again, why? Because there were several reforms taken by him. So he established a concept called as Gaz-e-Sikandari. Now, what is that? That is the measurement of the land, particularly called as Sikandar's yard. So that was one of the development in agriculture. Later on, you will get to see that different kings will be emerging powerful, but out of which Ibrahim Lodi, he was defeated by Rana Sanga of Mewar. He was also defeated by Babur in the first battle of Panipat. And during his period, you need to remember that the rise of Mughal Empire in India will be starting, particularly with the first battle of Panipat. So in the first battle of Panipat, Babur will be defeating Ibrahim Lodi, and the Sultanate era will be ending. But you need to remember that from the period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq till the end of Lodhi dynasty, you will get to see that Vijayanagar Empire is surviving in South India. Okay, so out of the shadows of northern turbulence rose a southern citadel of power, which was called as the Vijayanagar Empire. So Vijayanagar Empire, founded to preserve dharma and defend against the northern onslaught, it stood like a lion in the Deccan against the Bahmani Sultanate. Now, it was founded in 1336 by Harihara and Bukka Rai. The capital was at Hampi. Now that city of Hampi is situated on the bank of river Tungabhadra. Now you need to also remember that the Vijayanagar Empire was ruled by 4 different dynasties. First is Sangam dynasty, second is Suluva dynasty, third is Tuluva dynasty, and fourth is Aravidu dynasty. So you can remember in the form of SSTA. So the first powerful king belonging to Vijayanagara Empire was Devraya I. He belonged to Sangam dynasty, the first dynasty. And you need to also remember a few contributions of Devraya I. So a dam across river Tungabhadra was constructed during his period. He defeated Firoz Shah of Bahamani Sultanate. Where was Bahamani Sultanate? Just to the north of Vijayanagara Empire. Now, during his period, he modernized the Vijayanagara army. And you also need to remember that foreign travelers like Niccolo de Conti and Nikitin visited the Vijayanagara Empire during the period of Devraya I. Then comes the most powerful king of Vijayanagara Empire, that is Krishnadevaraya, belonging to Tuluva dynasty. Okay. He is also called as Andhra Bhoj. Now he maintained cordial relationship with Portuguese, and there are few literatures which were written by Krishnadevaraya. To name a few are Amukta Mallada, which mentions about the politics and ethics, Jambavati Kalyanam and Usha Parinayam. Okay, Amukta Mallada was written in Telugu language, so you need to remember this. And again, the court of Krishnadevaraya was adorned by 8 prominent persons. They were collectively known as Ashtadiggaj. To name a few was Tenali Ramakrishna, Allasani Pedanna. Okay, so you can remember all these things in detail. In my lectures in the batch of essentials, we do discuss about all these things in detail, man. Fine. Now, Hampi bloomed with mesmerizing architecture, bustling bazaars and temples carved by the time itself. And for over 2 centuries, this empire stood tall, a flame of glory in the south. So you can have a look over the architectures over on the screen. The thunder of hooves echoed again as Babur, the descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan, crossed the Khyber and laid the foundation of Mughal Empire. So the first person, again the founder of Mughal Empire, was Zahiruddin Babur. So during the period of Babur, you need to remember a few important things, a few important events which happened. So Ibrahim Lodi was defeated, as we have discussed earlier, in the first battle of Panipat. Rajputs under Rana Sanga, okay, Maharana Sangram Singh, was defeated in the battle of Khanwa in 1527. As the Mughals rose, so did a new spiritual light under the leadership of Guru Nanak Dev emerged. So it was this period where the birth of Sikhism happened, particularly to preach unity and truth. So this is the image of Guru Nanak Dev preaching the concept of Sikhism, the philosophy of Sikhism. Later on, Humayun's period came, but again you need to remember that Humayun stumbled against the brilliance of Sher Shah Suri, the Afghan genius, right? So Humayun faced the problems of weak financial system. During the period of Humayun, Sher Shah Suri defeated Humayun in the battle of Chausa and later in the battle of Kannauj again. And in the battle of Kannauj, Humayun was defeated completely. Humayun took refuge in the different part of the Indian subcontinent. Later on, after the death of Sher Shah Suri, Humayun came back. He took back his empire, and later on you will get to see the different timeline which we will be discussing again. Now, this period of Sher Shah Suri emerged with different contributions. Sher Shah Suri was given the title as Sher Khan. Now, you will get to see that the period of Sher Shah Suri was contributory in terms of infrastructure. So the first was the Grand Trunk Road, which he constructed. Okay, Grand Trunk Road, which started from Chittagong till modern days Kabul. Okay. Then Sher Shah Suri also established the Purana Kila, which is there yet today. You will get to see the remains of the Purana Kila in the Old Delhi. Then you also need to remember that the administrative system of Sher Shah Suri was an highly centralized administration. Later, then dawned the reign of Akbar the Great, a warrior and a visionary. So Akbar, he defeated Hemchandra Vikramaditya in the second battle of Panipat. He also defeated Maharana Pratap in the battle of Haldighati. Now you need to remember that there were few religious symbols which emerged during the period of Akbar, out of which Ibadat Khana was one of it. So Ibadat Khana was a kind of, you can say, a building where scholars of different religions, scholars of different philosophies came and had a discussion with the king, right? Then the concept of Deen-e-Ilahi emerged. Deen-e-Ilahi was like again kind of religious sect which was adopted by Akbar, and this contained all the good ideas of different religions. Then Jahangir, Nuruddin Jahangir, who was also given the title as Salim. Jahangir, the aesthete, held the empire with justice and a love for art. So now during this period, you will get to see that Jahangir will be giving permission to Britishers to establish factory at Surat. Also, paintings were at its zenith. So during the period of Jahangir, you will get to see the paintings associated with nature, paintings associated with king's court, portrait paintings, miniature paintings will emerge during this period. Then the son of Jahangir, Shah Jahan, who was also called as Prince Khurram, will be ruling. Now, Shah Jahan raised marble dreams, the Taj Mahal, the Red Fort, and the immortal monuments of love and power. He also annexed Kandahar. He also annexed Ahmednagar in the Deccan. You need to remember that different foreign travelers like Francois Bernier, Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, Manuki visited his court. And Taj Mahal, okay, the one of the 7 wonders of the world, was constructed during the period of Shah Jahan. Then Peacock Throne, Red Fort, these were the architectural marvels which was like made during the period of Shah Jahan. Then came Alamgir Aurangzeb, austere and relentless. Now, we'll get to see in important events. He imprisoned Shah Jahan, his father himself, right? He annexed Golconda and Bijapur. So during the period of Aurangzeb, the entire Deccan Sultanate was like annexed, and Alamgir Aurangzeb, he was ruling in the Deccan as well. But his Deccan policy was failure. Why? Because of his intolerant attitude towards the different groups like Marathas, Jats, Sikhs. So you will get to see that Sikhs under the leadership of Guru Gobind Singh will revolt against Aurangzeb. Then later on you will get to see that Marathas under Chhatrapati Shivaji will be revolting against the oppressive policies of Aurangzeb. After Aurangzeb, like with the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughals' sun belonged to set, leaving behind a sky of regional stars. Now, after the death of Aurangzeb, particularly the economy was not much good. The administration was also very much decentralized, and you will get to see the different rulers after Aurangzeb, right from Bahadur Shah to Bahadur Shah to second, okay, he's also called as Bahadur Shah Zafar. So during this particular period, the son of the Mughal emperor will start declining. And in the ashes of Mughal might, a new fire burnt, that is the Marathas. Born in the hills of Sahyadris, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj crafted a kingdom with courage and cunningness. Now, you will get to see that how he built forts that defied gravity, a navy that ruled the Konkan seas, and a dream of Swarajya, the self-rule. So you will get to see, under the leadership of Chhatrapati Shivaji, the empire right started from the Konkan and was extended till the modern days Tamil Nadu, where a particular place called as Tanjavur or Jinzi is situated. During the period of Chhatrapati Shivaji, you can recall a few important events. Like he was the reason for the rise of unrest in the Deccan. Battle of Pratapgarh happened. Plundering of Surat was taken place during his period. Agra escape is an important event. Then coronation. So Chhatrapati Shivaji was coronated as the king in 1674. He was also termed as the father of Indian Navy. Why? Because his navy is particularly much powerful when it compared to the other navies or the other naval powers of that particular time. Okay, so even if you recall, he is considered to be the father of Indian Navy. If you see over here, the Indian naval flag is having this symbol, which again represents the Rajmudra of Chhatrapati Shivaji. Then his son Sambhaji stood tall against Aurangzeb, fighting till his last breath. Important events like plundering the Burhanpur, strengthening of navy, defeating Portuguese, but again at the end he was assassinated by Aurangzeb. Then came the rise of Peshwas, especially the brilliant Bajirao Peshwa I. He was a military genius who carried the saffron flag right from Afghanistan to Tamil Nadu. Later, you will get to see that Nana Sahib Peshwa, okay, who is also called as Balaji Bajirao, he will be sending Sadashiv Bhau, the military general, to fight against the invasion of the Duranis under the leadership of Ahmad Shah Abdali. Now, but the destiny had one final twist. The third battle of Panipat, okay, the third battle of Panipat, a tragic clash where dreams shattered and Maratha tide momentarily receded. And that is all with respect to this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. This video consists the important contributions of different emperors, different dynasties, and we have discussed it in a chronological order. So I want you people to revise this again and again, be it if you are giving the prelims 2025 this year or for 2026 or 27. So this video will play a role of helping you understand the chronology of medieval India. Do watch the ancient history timeline video as well. So these two videos will help you understand the chronology of the events. And that is all from my side. Thank you. All the best.